Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. This bulletin is coming to you live from the Joy 99.7 FM studios, Kokomlemle in Accra, at digital address GA0993341. Also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, affiliates across the country on ABN Radio in London and around the world at myjoyonline.com. The news is brought to you by Telesol 4G, just a touch. In this edition, Upper West Regional Security Council meets leaders of churches in the region after arrest of Bukinabe with a loaded pistol at the Catholic Church at Hamile yesterday.
When he was questioned as to why he brought the pistol to the church, he couldn't give any tangible explanation.
Details as personnel from the formed police unit in Accra have been deployed to the region to beef up security. Vice President arrives in Tripoli for peace talks with feuding factions after a week-long conflict there left 3 dead and properties destroyed. We'll bring you details of that meeting as well as updates on the NHIS official who was arrested last night for transporting shotgun cartridges to the town. The dams that cannot irrigate farms, that's the story of the people of the Bongo community of Ayopia who complain dam built by government is unable to hold enough water for dry season farming.
Initially, that was not what we were expecting. We were expecting something bigger and better than this.
Our political opponents, I don't expect them to talk good about these dams.
We've got details as residents blame the design of the dam for the drowning of a 10-year-old girl. In sports,
Black Stars captain Andrea Yu insists Abu Dhabi campaign is crucial as they begin preparations for AFCON today.
And later, Shraj report on waste management company Zoom Lion goes missing from the Attorney General's department.
We have evidence of our transmitter letter. We have evidence of the delivery.
We'll tell you more about this report and what Shraj is proposing to do. We have all that and more here on the Midday News with me, Emefa Apau. And let's start off from the Upper West region because the Security Council there is meeting with church leaders in the region over security concerns following the arrest of a Bukinabe national yesterday. 51-year-old Tibila Dizai Biligo was arrested at a Catholic church at Hamile in the Lambushi district with a pistol loaded with 2 rounds of ammunition. Dozens of policemen from the formed police unit in Accra have arrived in the region to beef up security. We'll bring you live updates shortly. Before that, a member of the Catholic church who noticed the gun on the Bukinabe says his awareness of the threat of a possible terror attack on Ghanaian churches and the education from his parish priest made him vigilant. Listen.
On my way to the church, I met this suspect. He was pushing a bicycle, and then he asked me in French whether the church was a Catholic church. I said yes. He said okay, he's also going to the church. But my friend wasn't clear enough for me to interrogate him more. So when we got to the church, I was asking around those people who understand French, so that they could interrogate him and know more about him. So we didn't finish, and then it was time for the mass. I actually went inside the team, and then I brought him and came out. So when I came out, I thought I was asking around. Then I was told one man, Mr. Pet, who understands French. So I went to his house and picked him and brought him to the church premises. So I went and called him out for the man to interpret what the man was saying. So upon the interrogation, we detected that he was having a weapon, that is a gun. We sent him to the police station. No, the church was in section. So if we have wanted to tell the church members, it would have caused fear and panic. There have been recent happenings in our neighboring Burkina Faso where our church leaders have been sensitizing us to be security conscious about the terror attack that has been happening.
You have a parish congregant there telling us about how his vigilance led to the arrest of this 51-year-old Bukinabe. We'll take you live to the Upper West Regional Security Council meeting shortly when my colleague Rafiq Salam joins us on the line. But security and safety expert Adam Bona has commended the actions of the church member but says government must commit more to tighten security in towns at Ghana's borders.
Ending of last year, I spent about a week or 2 weeks in Hamile and Kokoleko area, which is just, I actually entered Burkina and, to go, I spent some few hours in Burkina and no one interrogated me. We drove in a vehicle in there and we drove back and it's so dusty, the road is so dusty into Burkina and you only see a structure there depicting the fact that either a goodbye or welcome into Ghana. And so for me, these are times have changed. And so why can't we actually put up, if not a very large wall, but make sure the place is good enough for pedestrians who are walking through to be vetted, those who are driving through to be vetted. That way, it is possible to reduce the influx of probably foreigners who might be hitting at you or those who will be using that arena in coming into our country.
You have the security analyst Adam Bona there. We'll get to Rafiq Salam shortly, who is monitoring the Regional Coordinating Council. That's the RegSec meeting shortly on this particular matter. But let's head to Tripoli quickly, because the Vice President, Mahmoud Bawumia, is in Tripoli for peace with feuding factions in the conflict, which left 3 dead and properties destroyed. His visit follows that of the Defense Minister last week, which resulted in a temporary ceasefire. Northern Regional correspondent Martina Bugri is with the Vice President in Tripoli. She will join us live on the line shortly for details on that. We'll get to Martina Bugri. She's been monitoring events there. Martina will stay with us. We'll get her shortly to join us on the line. You're still listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Once we are clear on the line, we'll go back to the Upper West Regional Security Council, and then also to Martina Bugri. She's our Northern Regional correspondent, monitoring that meeting between the Vice President, of course, and some leading factions in Tripoli. But we can listen to the Vice President, who's been interacting with residents already.
He says, when we say we have stopped, we have stopped. Those are very pleasing words. What we need to focus on is not to take the peace for granted. We are working on the peace. We have to fight for the peace also. And so we have to continue. I really appreciate the effort for the paramount chief here to also meet with the regent in Tripoli, for them to work out this peace together. That is what really makes it lasting, that the two peoples will sit down together. And for my part, I am sure when we get back to Accra, given the reports that we receive, I am sure the president will also call both parties, both chiefs, to come to Accra, to the Jubilee House, so that we talk some more.
Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, of course, the Northern Regional Police is also investigating a man said to be an official of the National Health Insurance Scheme for transporting shotgun cartridges to Tripoli last night. The suspect, Mohammed Dushi, was arrested at a police barrier in Yendi on a Metro Mass bus which headed for Tripoli. We'll get details of that also shortly. But let's move on now, because last week, government's One Village, One Dam initiative came under intense scrutiny after a radio documentary by the Joy News affiliate A1 Radio in the Bolgatanga highlighted concerns by residents. The Bongo community of Ayopia benefited from policy that was expected to support year-round farming. But residents say the facility is too small to hold enough water for the purpose. They are also worried that the design of the dam may have contributed to the drowning of a 10-year-old girl. Now, in a special series, Albert Sori and A1 Radio's Joshua Azar spoke to residents about the development.
You have the minister across the 3 northern regions, and Bongo constituency alone is going to get 10 out of that 570.
He had earlier cut sod for the construction of a dam at Ayopia, a community in Bongo. This marked the takeoff of the One Village, One Dam initiative. It is now almost a year after the president's visit to Bongo, so we return to the Ayopia community, where we begin our series of stories from communities that are getting their share of the One Village, One Dam initiative.
Initially, that was not what we were expecting. We were expecting something bigger and better than this, which we can use for irrigation farming during the dry season. But as you can see, the water is not enough.
The Ayopia Dam, the dam which the president himself cut sod for its construction to begin in July last year. The dam is the size of about 2 football pitches or a little less than that.
Look at the edges. It is not well constructed. It's just a path. The animals were falling inside the dam when it is dry season.
However, The district chief executive for Bongo, Peter Ayembesa, insists that while the dam may not be what the people thought they were going to get, it is still serving some purposes. According to him, the people of Ayopia until now did not have a dam at all.
For the past God knows how many years, they never had a dam like that that could contain water for the animals to drink, for human beings to fetch, to use it to reconstruct their houses or their homes. They never got that. So if I have that now, the people are very, very appreciative. You see, those who say that they are not properly constructed, our political opponent, I don't expect them to talk good about these dams.
The assemblyman for Ayopia agrees with the DCE to some extent, but argues that the dam in its current state cannot be used for dry season farming, which was the main purpose for which the dam was constructed in the first place.
All what I know is that this dam can be expanded, and if it was done that way to serve the purpose of dry season farming, and then also can be used for domestic use, it would have been much better than it is now.
He also recounted to us an incident when some children drowned in the reservoir inside the dam. Some people attributed the drowning of the children to the poor nature of construction of this dam, but the DCE disagrees.
It is not the matter of well constructed or not well constructed. It's about we, the human beings, telling our children to move away from the water.
You heard the reports by Joy News' Upper East correspondent Albert Sori and Joshua Asa of our affiliate station A1 Radio in Bolgatanga. Now, in a related development, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia says despite the challenges encountered on the implementation of the One Village, One Dam program, government will complete all the dams in the selected villages. Dr. Bawumia gave the assurance when he visited Bulenge as part of his Ramadan tour across the country.
We are trying to do the One Village, One Dam, and so we will look to making sure that also happens. We are looking at all the challenges that they are facing. We will address them, but the idea, inshallah, by next year is to complete all the dams.
You heard the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Let's head back to the Upper West region because precisely the Security Council, where my colleague Rafiq Salam joins us, we know that the Regional Security Council are currently locked up in a meeting following the arrest of a Burkinabe national yesterday. That 51-year-old Tibila Desire Biligo was arrested at a Catholic church at Hamile in the Lambushi district with a pistol loaded with 2 rounds of ammunition. Rafiq, you've been monitoring that meeting. Give us updates.
Hello.
Hello, Rafiq.
Hello.
You've been monitoring that REDSEC meeting. What can you report?
The meeting is still currently ongoing. It's a meeting between the REDSEC and the leadership of churches in the Upper West region. They've been here for the past 2 hours, and no sign of them are coming out at the RCC.
It looks like this is an issue that the REDSEC is taking very seriously. But prior to the meeting, I'm sure you've been interacting with some of them. What have they been telling you?
They are really concerned about the security situation because they are saying that they are not taking the threat or the alleged threat lightly. And some of them were really shocked about what they heard yesterday about that gunman, 51-year-old Burkinabe, who entered the church with a pistol loaded with 2 rounds of ammunition. And so they are really shocked about what happened yesterday, and they think that they need to take their security seriously.
But let's talk a bit about Tibila Desire Biligo, that 51-year-old man. Where is he currently and what has police been saying?
He's currently at Jirapa. I have spoken to the police about him. They said he's in safe hands. And then later this afternoon, they will be taking him back to Hamile for further investigation. And tomorrow, he's likely going to be put before the law court.
But Rafiq, has he been speaking or has he said anything at all about why he carried that pistol to the church that day?
He hasn't said anything about that because when they are speaking to him, he wouldn't even answer some of the questions. But because his English is not all that proficient, and then he just didn't answer the question why he was keeping that gun at the back, at his back pocket.
Now, Rafiq is still monitoring that RegSec meeting, as and when we get the very latest, we'll go back to Rafiq for some updates on that. We'll also go to my colleague Martina Bugri, Northern Regional Correspondent, on the latest with this National Health Insurance Scheme official who is reported. He's been investigated as we speak by police for transporting shotgun cartridges to Tripoli last night. This is the midday news here on Joy 99.7 FM. Let's do some other stories now, because businessman and founder of the All People's Congress, Hassan Ayariga, has accused the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, of demanding money to desil drains in his community. Mr. Ayariga, whose West Legon home was among many affected by flooding 2 weeks ago, says although he paid officials of NADMO 2,500 Ghana cedis, they have failed to fix the problem. He told my colleague Araba Kumsen he fears the worst if there's any or there's another heavy downpour.
If you look at the gutter we went to visit, you see that what happened is that the sand has piled up, reducing the length and breadth of the gutter and the volume of the gutter. So what happened is that now the water flows on the top surface instead of going into the gutter, because the gutter hasn't been desilted.
This was about 3 or 4 days ago, and we are told that we are to expect more rains. Yeah. What are the authorities doing to prevent a recurrence of what happened last Wednesday?
You know, what happened was that after this whole issue, NADMO came. And when NADMO came, they said that they were willing to help me desilt the gutter. Then I told them, it's your responsibility. Don't say you're willing. But they say, unless I give them money for fueling. So I said, no problem. Give me the estimate. So I asked people in the community to contribute. The community contributed 500 Ghana cedis. NADMO was demanding 8,000 from me. So I gave them 2,500 Ghana cedis. Today is almost getting to 2 weeks. They always call on and off. So that's why you see the gutter is still there. Normally by now, if NADMO hadn't come in, I would have done it my own. Till date, they're always telling me 4 days, they'll come 5 days. How long can we wait?
You heard the businessman and founder of the All People's Congress, Hassan Ayariga, there, but Deputy NADMO Coordinator Abu Ramadan has denied Mr. Ayariga's claims.
Ayariga should stop his hypocrisy. It doesn't do any of us good. The information my director has given me, a team went there, they did an assessment, a report was sent, the district was copied the report, and for that matter, the districts have their own earmark projects and drains that they are going to desil. Ayariga offered for that one to be done so that there won't be a recurrence of such an event again. And it is normal.
When you say Mr. Ayariga offered, are you saying that he's the one who actually made the move to pay the money and that the money was not demanded by the NADMO officials?
So when the team went there to do the assessment, he offered and said, okay, he would get the community to come together. So Ayariga gave them 2,500 as initial payment for work to be done. Later on, when the team of experts itself, the engineer was going to do the job, went there, they said they can't do that job within one. So the 2,500 was not adequate. They needed 8,000 to undertake that particular activity. He said, okay, then he will get back to the team with the rest of the money so that they can come and do the job. Till today, from what my officer who went there is telling me is that they are still waiting for him to call them and give them the rest of the money so that they can go and do the job for him.
But you say they're doing the job for him. It's for the community, not for Mr. Ayariga.
But he says he's paying it on behalf of the community. He says he's doing it on behalf of the community.
So in the event that Mr. Ayariga doesn't have money, are you saying NADMO will not do the job?
Araba, yes. NADMO will do a job to save lives. That place has not flooded before. That place is an area flooding problem. Right. NADMO will go in and desil to that drain.
You heard the Deputy NADMO Coordinator Abu Ramadan. Meanwhile, former President Mahama has called on government to speed up efforts at desilting the Odo River, warning failure to do so could lead to more casualties as Meteo officials warn of more rains in the coming days. His call comes as many Ghanaians observe the 4th anniversary of the June 3 fire and flood disaster which killed 150 people. Just last week, 4 people died following a downpour in many parts of Accra. The former president made the appeal yesterday when he visited some areas in the capital affected by the flooding.
Silting must be a continuous exercise. And so if for a year or two you relax in terms of desilting the drains, then you have the kind of a pushback that you have seen. I remember that in 2015 and 2016, after the June 3rd disaster, we did a lot of extensive desilting. And I'm sure that that is what minimized a lot of the flooding in 2017 and 2018. I think for some time, this government has been lax in following up with that desilting. And that is what is making you see the kind of extensive flooding. There are even areas that have never flooded before that are flooding today. And that is because the desilting of the primary, secondary, and tertiary drains has not been done for some time.
Former President John Dramani Mahama, this is the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM. We'll take a quick break, but a recap of our top stories. Upper West RegSec meets leaders of churches in the region after arrest of Bukinabe with a loaded pistol at a Catholic church at Hamile yesterday. And still to come, Straj report on waste management company Zoom Lion goes missing from the Attorney General's department.
We have evidence of our transmitter letter. We have evidence of the delivery.
The new Ghana card is more than just a way to identify yourself. It opens you up to a world of benefits.
The sooner you register for your Ghana card, the closer you are to accessing a new world of secure transactions and services. The requirements to register are as follows:
a genuine birth certificate or a valid Ghanaian passport and personal information such as the name of your parents or legal guardians, residential address, and your digital address code.
If you don't have a birth certificate or a valid Ghanaian passport, don't worry. One relative or two members of the community who have been registered and have received their Ghana card can vouch for you under oath. You will, however, need your digital address code. You will not be allowed to register without it.
Any person who provides false information during this process is liable to prosecution, leading to the payment of a fine and/or serving a jail term.
Watch out for registration details in the media and the national identification team in your community. Make sure you register for your Ghana card.
Ghana card, connectivity, access, and progress.
The Electoral Commission will undertake a revision of the voters' register in all the district offices of the Electoral Commission from Friday 7 June 2019 to Thursday 27 June 2019 between the hours of 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. each day and including Saturdays and Sundays during the registration. The objective of the registration is to afford Ghanaians who have attained the age of 18 years and others who are more than 18 years but for various reasons could not register during the previous registration to do so. A person qualifies to register as a voter if he or she is a Ghanaian of a sound mind who has attained 18 years and is a resident or an ordinary resident in an electoral area where he or she would like to vote. There will be additional registration centers in difficult to access electoral areas. The public should contact their district and regional offices to help them to locate the registration centers. A person who is qualified to register but whose name is not already on the register will be required to show proof of eligibility by submitting any of the following documents: a Ghanaian passport, national ID card or the Ghana card, driver's license or an old voter's ID card. Applicants who do not have any of the identification documents listed above are required to find two people who are already registered voters to complete documents to guarantee their registration. Remember, the limited voters registration will begin from Friday 7 June 2019 to Thursday 27 June 2019 between the hours of 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. each day. Register to vote. Your vote is your power. Because your vote is your power. Register to vote. Because your vote is your power.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News. Benedict Owusu has the latest from the world of sports.
Yes, my friend, what a weekend it was. Liverpool winning the UEFA Champions League. Accra Hearts of Oak, they were kicked out of the normalization special competition by a lower division team. And also Anthony Joshua, AJ, Sasa. AJ. Well, let's talk about the Black Stars. And, they will begin their pre-AFCON training tour later today, with their first training session scheduled to be held at the Jebel Ali training facility in Dubai. Now, Coach Kwesi Appiah and his captain Andre Ayew, as well as General Captain Asamoah Gyan, joined the rest of the players this morning. Now, skipper Andre Ayew talks about how crucial this training camp is.
We are prepared. We are thinking of how we are going to make our nation proud. I think we have a good team. We have a good technical team too. We are ready to go and fight for our nation. We are going to go to Dubai. That's where we're going to prepare, train, and be ready for the AFCON. So I just have that belief that if we stay calm, stay united, everything will be okay. So we need to just put that into place. My colleagues and I are ready. My colleagues and I are united, and I assure every Ghanaian that we are ready for battle.
So that was Andre Ayew, who is captain of the Black Stars. Now, Kumasi Asante Kotoko have reiterated their decision not to honor their special competition tier 1 semi-final game against Accra Hearts of Oak on June 16. They released a statement to that effect. I quickly will go through the statement. It says management is of the firm conviction that the posture of the FA is not only disheartening but an impediment to proper planning and preparation ahead of the games. They continue to state that management insists that it has only set of legally binding regulations from the FA and its custody that was accepted by the signing of an attached form and returned to the FA before the start of the tournament, and maintains that the FA has till date not finished it with the purported revised regulations being referred to. And the statement and said it is the contention of management and well-meaning persons within the sporting fraternity that the position of Asante Kotoko should not be viewed as one which seeks the parochial interest of the club, but rather one that epitomizes fairness and equity. And the Joy Sports track is on, so there will be more on this. And later tonight we start the Africa Cup of Nations Diaries on radio. Sam Johnson is our guest.
Thank you, Benedict. Now, an investigative report by the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice cannot be traced, even though the Commission says it has submitted it to the Minister of Justice and Attorney General. A conflict of interest and corruption investigation was conducted on waste management company Zoom Lion Ghana Limited and the District Assembly's Common Fund. The investigation took 9 years to complete and was submitted to the Attorney General's Department in June 2018. However, the Attorney General's Department says there is no evidence of such report in its records. Commissioner of Strat Joseph Whittal tells Super Morning Show host Daniel Dazi his outfit conducted and submitted that report.
The scope, as I said, included investigating Zoom Lion for corruption, conflict of interest, and its officials, for that matter, corruption, conflict of interest, the Office of the Administrator of Common Fund, and at that time, the assemblies were 138. One member actually was cited, that's the Tano South District Assembly. But because in the course of our preliminary investigation, we realized that the matter was covering all 138 assemblies at the time. We expanded the scope to cover all that. And we painstakingly, despite all the issues we were confronted with in terms of objections in court and rulings, and which necessarily led to delays, we concluded and submitted, I would say, a report in the interest of the states of Ghana to where the report expects us, where the law expects us to forward it to.
Mr. Whittal says his outfit is ready to resubmit that report. Now, some customers of microfinance companies are worried that their monies will be locked up following Central Bank's decision to revoke licenses of more than 300 of these financial institutions. The Central Bank, in a statement released on Friday, said the institutions have no reasonable prospect of rehabilitation, constituting a threat to the stability of the financial system. This followed a similar cleanup exercise carried out by the BOG that saw the collapse of 7 indigenous banks. Owner of one of the affected companies says he could have saved his company if the Central Bank had been patient.
We were there as soon as we got our information ready, like the annual account and all those stuff. We gathered them and we were about to send to them. Then they called us and informed us that we should come for our report, but then we should go and renew our licensing for 2018 before picking the report. So we did just that. Immediately we picked up the report. We came and there was a meeting by GAMSI, our umbrella, that was supposed to have met on Friday. That was last week. So we thought it was a privilege to go and discuss issues with the regulator and how to help us to also make our money, because since we have already committed our resources out, and in addition, then we heard from the news that our license is part of the numbers that were revoked.
But head of other financial institution supervision department of the Bank of Ghana, Kofi Amwa Ewa, however, says the affected companies were offered ample opportunity to address the concerns the BOG had about their financial state. Meanwhile, some customers of microfinance institutions in Accra who spoke to Joy News have expressed concern they may lose their monies.
Because it's a Bank of Ghana bar.
If the Bank of Ghana takes over, I cannot come and say I want to withdraw my money. My concern is that people may not get their money. They have taken my brother's documents, and I am worried. How will he show the Bank of Ghana officials that indeed his money is with the bank? This is what is confusing me.
Some customers of these microfinance institutions, and Mapitso had quite a weekend. Joins us with the latest on what's trending. What are people talking about?
Well, people are talking about hashtag Joy SMS and the conversation that they had about robbing the assemblies. At Joseph Asedu says, Jospong has captured our states, and I commend at Manas_Azure for standing up against corruption. Hashtag Joy SMS. At Ephraim Roberts says, seriously, we are all failing this country. We like compensating criminals in this country too much. Government wants to compensate galamseyers and other illegal workers before they ask them to stop their work. Why can't I join them? Hashtag Joy SMS. And at Amin says, Manasseh Azurawuni it's so alarming how some contracts are awarded without proper checks. Hashtag Joy SMS.
And that's your midday news. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. I am Emefa Apo. Enjoy your week.